So, ladies and gentlemen, this guy was so big on NHL ice surfaces that it would take him 10 seconds to fall down. Well, not really, but it sounds good. Today we're going to be talking with the late, great Bob Dailey. Now, Bob Dailey unfortunately left this world way too soon, ladies and gentlemen, only at the age of 63. Born May 3rd, 1953, in one of my favorite communities in Canada, Kingston. Was a Canadian defenseman, played 9 seasons in the NHL with the Canucks and the Flyers between 73 and 82. Now, one of the biggest early draft picks of Vancouver, he was our number 1 pick in 1974. Now, at the time, he was the league's tallest player until the arrival of Willie Huber in 1978. 6'5", they say 220, I think it was more 240 or 250. His beard was 5 pounds. Now, Dailey, for a lot of people, one of the most popular players on the ice, he had a tremendous combination of size and skill on the blue line. Now, taken 9th overall, and I think it was a steal in the 73 draft, he got his big start, of course, with the Toronto Marlies, where he won a Memorial Cup with them in 73. Now, he did start with the American Waxers of the Met JHL, but graduated to the Marlborough in 71, only 5 points. But then he really opened out, 72, 23 goals, 78 points, and again the Memorial Cup. First season with the Canucks, put up some really solid numbers, wasn't scared to take a penalty either, 24 points in 76 games. Now, where he stood for me, ladies and gentlemen, he had a really good playoff series against Montreal in 75 in the quarters after a 48-game season. Now, back then, for the defenseman to get 50 points in the season was tremendous, and Dailey fit that role. Now, 75, like I said, he got 48 points, and he was named the club's top defenseman. He had another fine season in 76, notching 15 goals despite missing time to injury. Now, for some reason, the Canucks would deal him to Philadelphia Flyers midway through the 76-77 season in exchange for Jack McElhargy and Larry Goodenough. Good average defenseman, no Bob Dailey. The deal would prove a lopsided one, as McElhargy or Goodenough were never more than bit players for the Canucks, while Dailey was the Flyers' top defender for the next 5 years. And that's saying a lot, because Tom Blayden and some other players had preceded him, and the Watson brothers as well, and Barry Ash was there before he got hurt. But Dailey was imposing on the blue line. I call him the second wave of the Broad Street Bullies, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in 78, it was Dailey's probably best season and one of the best defensive seasons of the 1970s besides Bobby Orr and Denny Potvin. He had 21 goals and 57 points, which would set club records, which are now broken, for a defender. He also was selected to play in the NHL All-Star game that year. In 1980, he would register 39 points in just 61 games, and then added, get this, ladies and gentlemen, 17 more points in the playoffs, and helping the Flyers reach the finals only to lose to the Islanders in 6 games. In 81, he was again named the Flyers' top defender and was selected to play in the second All-Star game, but his season was ended prematurely due to a knee injury which required surgery. Now, 12 games into the 1982 season, Dailey shattered his ankle catching a rut in the ice in Buffalo. The injury required 3 screws to repair and forced a retirement at the age of only 28. Now, he did attempt to come back with the Hershey Bears of the AHL in 85, but found he could not compete and retired for good after 5 games. Now, Dailey finished his career with 94 goals and 231 assists for 325 points in 561 NHL games, including a Broad Street Bully stylized 814 minutes in penalties. Now, talking about his passing, we heard he was quite sick in the early 2010s. Amongst the media, we were hoping, because he went into remission for a little while, but the 6-year battle eventually took him. But, when we talk about the 1970s, the great defenseman, he's got to be top 20 for sure, maybe top 15, because we forget how good he was, because I hope you take this the right way. The Flyers' glory years were already past when he arrived, and people were thinking of Boston, the Rangers, Montreal, Toronto more. But I know if they would have got 2 or 3 more players, or Darryl Sittler was traded a little bit earlier to the Flyers, maybe they wouldn't have won a cup in 1980. Because there was really no difference between the Flyers and the Islanders 80 Cup, especially. But the only problem is that the Flyers loss at home against the Islanders. That was a big turning point. Again, awards and achievements. He was named Vancouver's top defenseman in '75, NHL All-Star Game '78 and '81, and the Flyers' top defenseman in '79 and '81. And again, for me, ladies and gentlemen, that 1978 season, where every time you turn on the game at the Spectrum, Dailey's name was almost mentioned once a game at the Spectrum. I think he had more points at home than he had on the road. And I don't have any statistics for that to prove it. But I still look at also that playoff in 1980, where he came off a season full of injuries, played a big 19 games, and like I said, not scared to drop the gloves, not scared to be aggressive. And at 6'5", you can't teach height. And Bob Dailey, can you imagine if he would have played another 5-10 years? He could have been playing for Pittsburgh or Buffalo or St. Louis or Detroit. I think he's one of the best players of the 70s to not be on a Stanley Cup. He's top 50 for sure. If you're going to take 50 of the greatest players of the 1970s to not have a name in a cup, he's one of them. Because he's brethren with the Flyers that already won, if you know what I'm saying. So, anyway, thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a like, comment, or subscribe. And this is part of our kind of look at the NHL draft picks for Vancouver in the mid-70s, the number one picks. We're going to continue. Previously, Lever and Ververgaert. We're going to do Rick Blight and Jerry Gillis very soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.